What if the evidence of a forgotten civilization isn't buried deep underground, but hiding in plain sight around us? Imagine we walk today's streets, passing buildings, statues that tell our current story. Think of old ruins on a distant hill, stones, weathered by centuries of sun and rain. Hear stories told by grandmothers, passed down through generations like precious heirlooms. Read words carved into stone tablets, their meanings sometimes lost to time. All these things might be traces, small signs of something far larger and more ancient than we currently understand. They might point to a time we do not yet fully know, a chapter of human history torn from our collective book, but leaving faint impressions on the remaining pages. Let us begin with stories, the very fabric of human culture. People everywhere tell old tales, myths about the first days of the world and the origins of humanity. Many of these ancient narratives, from separate corners of the globe, tell of a great flood. It's worth wondering. The story is famously in the Bible, Noah's Ark. It is also central to the Epic of Gilgamesh from Mesopotamia. We find the same theme in the myths of the Americas, Incan traditions, Mayan traditions, and the lore of indigenous Australians. The details change, names and causes shift, but the core idea is strikingly similar. A great flood wipes the world clean, a cataclysm that resets history. A few people survive the devastation, chosen or lucky. They often build a great vessel, a boat, an ark, to carry them to safety. After the waters recede, survivors start life anew, becoming progenitors of a new era. How could such similar stories appear in places so far apart? Did ancient peoples meet long ago and share a common history? Or did they independently face a similar catastrophic event that became a foundational myth worldwide? These creation myths offer tantalizing parallels. Many cultures tell of humans formed from clay or earth by a divine creator. A mother figure molds them into existence. Others speak of celestial twins shaping the world together. Some traditions describe a sky being who falls and becomes the land we live on. These ideas echo across oceans and continents. Some may argue this is simply the human mind working similarly, natural storytelling to explain origins. That may be true, but could some stories come from a shared ancestral memory, a common source? Could these myths be faint echoes from a time when people lived closer together or shared a common worldview? Now let us turn our gaze from words and stories to stones and towers. Go to the Giza Plateau in Egypt, stand in the shadow of the Great Pyramids, then travel to Mexico, Teotihuacan, Chichen Itza, continue to Nubia, smaller pyramids rising from desert sands. Observe Mississippian earthwork mounds, Cahokia. Notice repeating shapes and a common architectural language. A broad base rising to a celestial point, again and again. Builders moved massive quarried stones with baffling skill, aligned their buildings with the sun, with the moon, with the stars, marked solstices, marked equinoxes, turned cities into celestial clocks, designed enormous ceremonial plazas, built long processional causeways. How did distant peoples, with no known contact, learn similar ways? Did ideas travel across oceans on unknown ancient ships? Or did separate groups independently find the same solutions? The question hangs, massive and silent as the stones. Think of strange, precise stonework in the world's mysterious ruins. Sacsayhuaman in Peru. Overview: Sacsayhuaman, close-ups of massive interlocking polygonal stones. Stones fitted without mortar, some over 100 tons. Joints so tight you couldn't slip a piece of paper between them. Similar precise stone fitting in Egypt, and in parts of Japan. Some ruins don't match later, familiar local styles. They look older, more weathered, different. Who were the master masons? Why did these techniques vanish and simpler ones take their place? Consider underground chambers and tunnels. Serapeum in Egypt, colossal granite boxes, tunnel systems beneath Teotihuacan. These were complex engineering projects carved from bedrock with precision. Why the focus beneath the earth? Were they tombs, ceremonial passages, or something else entirely? Monumental surface structures paired with mysterious underground networks suggest shared beliefs or purposes. The stones remain. Their keepers are gone, leaving questions about lost knowledge. Well, it's a puzzle, really. Now, let us listen to the whispers of words and the silent speech of symbols. Languages evolve and diverge, creating a complex tapestry of human communication. But sometimes we find threads that seem out of place. We find odd echoes and strange resemblances in supposedly unrelated languages. Some simple foundational words like water, mother, father, the sun, show curious phonetic matches across vast divides. These aren't random coincidences. They form a pattern. Tricks of chance? Or fossilized remnants of a much older proto-language? The mystery deepens when we look at signs and symbols. A spiral, a cross-like shape, a circle with a dot in the center, a swastika. These geometric forms appear across ancient art worldwide, found etched into pottery, carved on megalithic stones, painted in prehistoric caves. Their meanings shift, but their forms persist. Invented independently? Or a scattered global alphabet? Consider the Master of Animals motif, a human flanked by two animals, found in Mesopotamian art, the Indus Valley, ancient European artifacts. Another motif, the serpent or dragon, seen in China, the Maya, the Norse, often associated with water, wisdom, cosmic power. Let us now lift our eyes to the sky, just as our ancestors did. Ancient people were profound observers of the cosmos. The sun, the moon, the stars were not just points of light. They were the hands of a great celestial clock, the source of calendars and the dwelling places of the gods. What is truly astonishing is how many ancient sites, scattered across the globe, are precisely aligned to celestial events. The Great Temple of Karnak in Egypt is oriented to the winter solstice sunrise. Stonehenge in England famously marks the summer solstice. The El Caracol Observatory at Chichen Itza in Mexico has windows that align with the movements of Venus. Ancient Ireland, Cambodia. People built their lives, their rituals, and their very cities on the rhythms of the sun and stars. This shared focus on celestial cycles is reflected in their calendars. Many ancient calendars are incredibly complex and accurate, sometimes more so than those that followed them. The Mayan long count calendar, Babylon, India, China. Might a shared way of reading the sky, a common system of astronomical knowledge, hint at deeper links between these cultures? Did they all discover this complex science on their own, or did they inherit it from a common source? The concept of the precession of the equinoxes is a particularly fascinating piece of this puzzle. This is the slow 26,000-year wobble of the Earth's axis, which causes the constellations to gradually shift their position in the sky over centuries. It is a subtle and difficult phenomenon to observe, requiring meticulous record-keeping over many generations. Yet, there is evidence to suggest that multiple ancient cultures, including the ancient Egyptians, the Vedic civilization of India, were aware of it. They encoded this knowledge into their myths and the alignments of their temples. Now let us imagine we are detectives of deep time, gathering clues from a case that is thousands of years old. We must lay all our evidence out on a table to see what kind of picture emerges. Each clue, taken alone, is small and can be easily explained away. A flood myth here, a step pyramid there, a similar sounding word in another language. Each individual piece could be a coincidence. Each could be a product of local invention, a case of separate cultures arriving at similar solutions to common human problems. This is the simplest explanation, and often the most sensible one. It is the safe harbor of conventional historical thought. But what happens when we place these clues side by side? A pattern, faint and shimmering, may begin to form. The flood myths stop being isolated tales and start looking like a shared memory of a global trauma. The pyramids of Egypt and Mexico no longer seem like unrelated projects, but rather different dialects of the same architectural language. The recurring symbols and astronomical alignments start to feel less like chance and more like a deliberate encoded message. The pattern is not clear or definitive. It is full of gaps and contradictions. It asks more questions than it answers. But it is there, and it invites us to explore, to listen, and to reconsider what we thought we knew. This is not about jumping to conclusions or announcing that we have found Atlantis. It is about acknowledging the anomalies, the things that do not quite fit the standard model of history. It is about having the courage to say, "This is strange," and then asking, "Why?" This breadcrumb trail leads us away from the well-trodden highways of history and into the overgrown back roads of our past. It suggests that human civilization may not have been a simple, linear progression from primitive to advanced. Instead, there may have been high points and devastating low points, with great knowledge being gained and then catastrophically lost. Consider a simple example of how these clues might connect. A great flood, a real geological event perhaps at the end of the last ice age, devastates coastal populations around the world. The survivors, scattered and traumatized, carry the memory of this event with them. They also carry the remnants of their pre-flood culture, knowledge of agriculture, astronomy, and monumental construction. As they rebuild their societies in new lands, they express this ancestral knowledge in different ways, adapted to their new environments. The core ideas remain, but they are clothed in new local styles. In this view, the similarities we see are the legacy of this mother culture, fragmented and distorted by time, but still recognizable if you know what to look for. As we follow this intriguing breadcrumb trail, we must also walk with caution and intellectual honesty. It is very easy to fall in love with a grand theory and begin to fit all the pieces into a story we want to believe. This is a trap that has ensnared many enthusiastic researchers. We must not force a match where one does not truly exist. The human brain is a pattern-seeking machine, and it can find faces in the clouds and conspiracies in coincidence. Therefore, a healthy dose of skepticism is not our enemy, but our most trusted guide on this journey into the deep past. Every clue must be tested, every piece of evidence scrutinized. We must rely on the rigorous work of specialists. We must ask archaeologists about the dating of sites and the stratigraphy of the soil. We must ask linguists if the word similarities hold up to etymological analysis, or if they are just false cognates. We must ask geologists about the evidence for ancient cataclysms. The answers they provide may not always support a simple romantic narrative of a lost golden age. They may tell us that two similar-looking structures were built thousands of years apart, or that a shared myth likely spread through known trade routes much later in history. We must respect these facts, even when they complicate our picture. Now let us imagine another path for these similarities to travel. Long ago, people may have been far more capable of long-distance sea travel than we currently credit them for. They may have sailed farther, traded more widely, and exchanged more ideas than our orthodox history books allow. Ancient trade routes could have carried more than just goods like tin and obsidian. They could have carried architectural plans for walls and temples, names for the constellations, and words for new tools and concepts. Over many centuries, these extensive networks of contact and exchange could have spread cultural patterns across the globe, creating the very echoes we are now detecting. In this scenario, there is no single lost civilization, but rather a more dynamic and interconnected ancient world. We should also be vigilant for false signals that can lead us astray. Some shapes are so simple that their independent invention is almost guaranteed. A circle, a triangle, a spiral can emerge from watching water go down a drain or a vine grow. Likewise, many words can sound alike purely by chance, especially short, simple ones. Science provides us with the tools to separate this noise from the true signal. Carbon dating can tell us if two ruins are from the same time period or from vastly different ones. Comparative linguistics can demonstrate whether languages share a common root or if their similarities are superficial. Careful, methodical investigation matters more than anything else. This path of thought, this following of faint clues, is not about proving one grand unifying theory beyond all doubt. It is not about replacing one historical dogma with another. It is about keeping our minds open. It is about cultivating a sense of wonder and allowing the small clues to speak for themselves. It is about listening to the echoes in old stories, seeing what the silent stones can tell us about our own origins. It is about asking one of the most fundamental questions we can ask. Where did our shared ideas, our common myths, our deepest spiritual impulses truly come from? The search itself is what enriches our understanding of the human journey. So, the next time you hear an old tale of a great flood or gods who came from the sky, pause and listen. The next time you see a picture of a pyramid, a megalithic ruin on a windswept hill, look closely at its design. The next time you find a spiral symbol carved on an ancient pot or a piece of jewelry, allow yourself to wonder aloud about its journey through time. These small moments are the breadcrumbs. They can lead us to bigger and more profound questions. They can inspire new archaeological digs in unexpected places. They can encourage us to look for connections that have been overlooked for generations. What do you think? Could the echoes of myth, the shapes of ancient stones, and the subtle hints hidden in language be the fragmented traces of a shared, forgotten past? Are we looking at the fingerprints of a lost civilization, a mother culture to us all? Or are these similarities simply the natural result of a common human experience, the products of independent minds in different parts of the world arriving at the same conclusions? The jury is still out, and the debate is wide open. Share your ideas, for we may be closer to the truth than we think, or we may be on a trail that will lead us to new wonders we do not yet even have the language to expect.